Hey, so for the first slide, I'm going to talk about which of these test methodologies have you used in the past and how do they fit into your project and affect short-term and long-term reliability. Um, so testing isn't super common at my workplace, but we do use unit testing on occasion for large projects, and API testing, although the API tests, sometimes it's also just like, hey, go test this with test in air quotes, and you just go and into Postman and, come up with some things on the spot, like that you think should or shouldn't work, and maybe some boundary cases, try and see if you can break it. But uh, so depending on the application, we might use it or might not. Um, yeah, we don't do test-driven development, although I have heard a lot of people really like it. I've heard some people say that um, before trying test-driven development, they thought, well, um, I don't have enough time to test my code, my production code or whatever. And then after trying it, they say, I can't believe I can't not test my code now. That's sort of the consensus that I've gotten from it. Although I personally have not been in a development environment that uses that. So we only do it on major parts. And so yeah, for APIs, you can test it in a few different ways. APIs are typically made with code, so you can draw up unit tests for it, test all your endpoints directly within the code. Or you can just, throw a Postman, or I believe there's Swagger has some, server that you can spin up that you can do basically the same thing, um, which is cool. And then you get to see what you put in and what you get back, and try and test your edge cases and things like that. So for short term, I actually feel like the way that if you have a strict testing phase, unit testing phase, I feel like it's kind of a detriment to your speed of production and stuff. If you have just a small feature addition that's really small, or if you have, a really small project, but maybe it's got, uh, you know, a lot of, or however this is, right? I don't know how to explain it. It's in my case, it's all enterprise systems, so very like, we use it internally, so it's not really that big of a deal. But then long term, if you have a really long term project and something breaks, it's so much easier to find what's breaking when you have a unit test to tell you that all of these tests were good and this one test or these sets of tests broke. And then instead of having to run directly through the debugger, you can actually just, you know, skip like half of your debugging process and get straight to it. It's also good, just for knowing if code that you add later is going to break your system. So